Today we talk Dr. Mario's downfall, new games on Switch, Animal Crossing updates, Pokenews, some Monster Hunter, and the rarest Amiibo you'll ever see up for auction. All that and more on today's edition of Mii Weekly. Let's do this! Hey everybody, welcome to another edition of Mii Weekly, this time for Friday, July 30th, 2021. As always, I'm Hero TJ, coming to you from Taipei, Taiwan. Thank you so much for joining me. I think I might have a record number of headlines for you today. Nothing big, so to speak, but all kinds of interesting. Now, I'm gonna blaziken through this in the interest of covering as much as I can, but for a deeper dive on anything I mention in this episode, you can find full write-ups from the many talented writers over at NintendoWire.com. Let's jump right in! There's a couple highly anticipated games that recently released, but Nintendo giveth and Nintendo taketh away. It looks like Nintendo is revoking Dr. Mario's medical license, on mobile at least. And not just Dr. Mario, all the crazy characters that somehow acquired a video game doctor's license. Sadly, for fans of Dr. Mario World, available on the App Store and Google Play, has received an end of service notice. Nintendo thanks everyone for playing the Dr. Mario World game, but the game service will end on November 1st, 2021. If you start up the Dr. Mario World game after the service has ended, an end of service notification will be displayed and you'll not be able to play the game. You will be able to look back at your play history in Dr. Mario World Memories, which is a webpage that will become available after the game's service ends. If you need a little bit more closure, you can check the in-game notices for details on other processes that will be in place for the game's end of service. I do presently have Dr. Mario World on the front page of my smartphone, but I don't think I've opened it up more than once. I do love me some Dr. Mario going all the way back to the NES, but for some reason the mobile app never grabbed me, so no love lost here. But if you're suffering from a sickness and the only prescription is more Dr. Mario World, you better get on that and get your fill. Now, if there are no objections, let's move on to new games coming to the Nintendo Switch. The Great Ace Attorney Chronicles are now available. It's available both physically and digitally for $39.99. Immerse yourself in a dramatic yet charming and witty world of evidence gathering, deduction, and courtroom battles with this double pack. This particular game includes a convenient assistance feature in case you hit a dead end in your investigation, so even if this is your first Ace Attorney game, you can get into your amateur sleuthing adventures with ease. I've never played any of the Ace Attorney games. Phoenix Wright and his ancestors have somehow eluded me for the entire duration of this very beloved franchise. So will I be picking this one up? No! It's just not my speed. But there is plenty to be excited about if you're an Ace Attorney fan. But hold it, there's more. Nioh, The World Ends With You is also now out for Nintendo Switch. It's taken 14 years for The World Ends With You to get a follow-up. My friend and Nintendo Wire colleague Ricky Berg touts the game's sweet soundtrack, addicting battles, and unique story. I never played the first game, I don't see myself jumping in here, and rumor is maybe this game doesn't stand on its own, in that much of the content is dependent on knowing what happened in the first game. So while this doesn't hold much interest for me personally, to many, this is kind of a big deal. You'll never guess what happened. We've got another Animal Crossing New Horizons update. During the month of August, a fireworks show will be lighting up your island sky every Sunday after 7 p.m. You can even design your own fireworks by giving custom design patterns to Isabelle. While this same event did appear at the same time last year, there are some newly added items, including a frozen treat, cotton candy, and boba, or as they say here in Taiwan, Jeonju Nai Cha. You could also pick yourself up some seasonal items, and there's also the promise of more content on the way. In addition to these updates, more free content for Animal Crossing New Horizons is currently in development for later this year. Now let's get those Legend of Zelda items, please. Animal Crossing isn't the only game with an update on the way. Pokemon Snap is receiving an update, available on August 3rd. There's 3 new areas to explore. You can shrink down to gain a new perspective. It's my boy Gyarados! And there's 20 new Pokemon appearing. In other Poke news, according to Variety, there's a live-action Pokemon series in development at Netflix. There are currently no details about the plot, but at the helm of the project is Joe Henderson, who is currently the co-showrunner and executive producer of Netflix's Lucifer. Henderson's take on the project will reportedly be a live-action series akin to the Detective Pikachu film starring Ryan Reynolds and Justice Smith that was released in 2019. I think that comes as great news to anybody who was a fan of the film. I personally thought that Detective Pikachu was great. My kids also loved it. To be altogether forthcoming, I did buy Pokemon Snap and I've probably put in less than 2 hours, so this update doesn't really move the needle for me much. But a live-action Poke series on Netflix? I think that's enough to get Poke fans excited the world over. Now let's talk monsters of the non-pocket variety. Monster Hunter Rise is getting a new crossover event, this time with another popular Capcom franchise, Okami. This time it's a layered armor set for your K9 pal based on Amaterasu. The Ami costume will not only give your Palamute the sun goddess's looks, but also a few unique animations. I've kind of completely fallen off Monster Hunter Rise, but I think I might have to recruit my brother to help me acquire this costume. You'll be able to snag the costume for yourself via an event quest starting today. There's some even crazier Monster Hunter news, this time relating to some of the rarest Amiibo in existence. Being an Amiibo collector can be tough. Not only do you have to deal with retail exclusives, scalpers, bootlegs, and shortages, from time to time, an extremely limited variant gets released that you'll likely never have the chance to see in real life, let alone own. We've seen the Golden Splatoon 2 Amiibo given away as tournament prizes, a gold and silver set of Monster Hunter Stories Amiibo given away in a Japanese Monster Hunter tournament, and most recently, gold variants of Monster Hunter Rise and Stories 2 Amiibo given away to lucky sweepstakes winners in Japan. While these Amiibo almost never change hands, one figure set has made it onto the auction block in Japan with a starting bid of nearly 10,000 US dollars. That's right, for 1 million yen, you can bid on the extremely limited Monster Hunter Rise gold 3-piece set of Magnamalo, Palamute, and Palico. That comes to roughly 266,240 NT, the currency used here in Taiwan. Or you could just buy them outright if you happen to have 15 million yen laying around. At the time of recording this video, there are 0 bids. Will an Amiibo collector answer the call and snag these Amiibo at this price? Or are they doomed to sit at auction with no bids for all eternity? Only time will tell. This story, of course, comes from none other than Amiibo Jason himself over at NintendoWire.com. Now playing! Most of my game time this past week has been playing Skyward Sword HD. I provided all of you with some pretty in-depth thoughts in last week's edition. I'll link to that in the upper right-hand corner if you want to check that out. I am somewhat pleased to report that the controls are becoming a little bit more natural now that I've played it for a little bit longer, although I do find I keep switching between button controls and motion controls. While I am trying to stick to buttons, some things are just a lot easier if you're using motion. But with the kids off school for summer, I've been trying to make more of a concerted effort to have some family game time. We bought Super Mario Party when it first released, but it was a little too advanced for my 2 youngest. But now my youngest is 4, so me and all 3 of my kids can play it at the same time, and it's pretty fun. We made it our mission to collect all the gems that they have in the game. Basically, you've got this star, and on each point, there's a gem you can collect by playing through the different modes of the game. And we beat it! Where possible, I stuck to my main man DK. I really wish that Mii characters were available, but I'm a huge Donkey Kong fan. We were born in the same year. I don't know that I would give Super Mario Party any kind of glowing recommendations, but my kids and I had enough fun with it for what it is. This episode's Spirit of the Week comes from Echoes. Echoes. We're looking at Spirit number 239, Mipha! From The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. Mipha is a Zora princess and childhood friend to Link and loving sister to her younger brother Prince Sidon. Mipha possesses the unique gift of healing, known as Mipha's Grace. As one of Princess Zelda's chosen champions, Mipha is entrusted with piloting divine beast Varuda. Unfortunately, she comes to an untimely and calamitous death in a fatal battle with Waterblight Ganon. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity revives Mipha to playable status, taking place 100 years before she met her end. She also may have it bad for a certain handsome Hylian hero. Equipping the Mipha Spirit will raise your critical health stats, and you can acquire the Mipha Spirit in World of Light, on the Spirit Board, in the Vault Shop, or you can scan a Mipha Amiibo. Thanks to Echoes for the suggestion. If there's a spirit you'd like to see as Spirit of the Week, please let me know in the comment section below, and if yours is selected, you'll be recognized in the episode with an on-screen credit, just like Echoes. Now it's time to sound off. I want to try out something a little different for this edition's Sound Off. Instead of asking you a specific question, I want to know, what questions do you have for me? And it can be about anything: life, video games, parenting, training, dieting, fighting, fitness modeling. Now's your chance to ask. We don't know what the news will be like over the course of the next week, but I'll be sure to take some time out of next week's edition to answer as many questions as I can. To submit your question, just type it up in the comments section, and please be sure to include the words "Sound Off." so that I don't miss it. I look forward to answering your question. And that's a wrap on another edition of Mii Weekly. All right, this was a good time. Did you have fun? I had fun. Let's, you and I, meet up again next Friday. It'll be like our thing. It's a crazy world out there. Whether you're in the US, Europe, Asia, or anywhere else in the world, I'm so glad that our mutual love of video games can bring us together. I know that whoever you are, wherever you are, and whatever you're doing, you're gonna get through this. Have an amazing week, and I'll catch you again next Friday. Until then, this is Hero TJ signing off. Thanks for playing.